Hey everyone, are there certain champions where it feels like their skill shots are just impossible to dodge? Laning just doesn't feel playable. For example, like things like Lux E or Diana Q, those abilities are undodgeable. Not really though. These two abilities are much easier for you to dodge than you think, especially Lux E. Lux is actually a pretty terrible laner, as her E is hard to hit versus people that actually know what they're doing. But today I'm going to show you exactly what I mean, using a game where I'm playing Diana versus Lux. But this isn't just a guide on how to dodge these abilities. The concepts I'm going to go over here will actually help you dodge skill shots for any matchup. These are the hidden tips that no other guide will show you. By the way, uncovering the secrets to climbing solo queue is what our whole service is built around at skillcap.com. It's completely risk-free to try us out as you're kept safe with rank up insurance. If you don't significantly improve while actively using skillcap, then you get your money back, no questions asked. Come check us out with the link in the description below and get the rank you've always wanted. Alright, now let's get into today's guide. This game is in Platinum MMR. So it's high enough that the gold players watching can't act like they are better, but it's low enough elo that I can exploit these players with simple skill shot fundamentals. So at the start of this lane, the first thing I'm going to do is walk up into Lux E range, then preemptively move backwards constantly because I'm trying to bait her into throwing her E. If I can bait out her E and make her miss, I have a good 10 seconds where I can freely walk up and look to use my own Q without her being able to reliably poke me back much. Also, if I can get her to use her abilities when I don't have CS to go for, I can grab last hits uncontested. This concept is one of the core fundamentals of any laning phase regardless of matchup. The better you get at baiting out abilities, the more CS you get, and the more windows you will have to contest the enemy laner. During those entire 12 seconds, Lux never used her E. I hit her with Q and grabbed a last hit during it. This is a big problem from her end. She's been full mana this whole time as well, so her mana regen has gone to waste, whereas I made sure to throw an ability so now I'm getting mana back. After that though, it's back to what I was doing before, moving in and out trying to bait her E. When I walk up for this last hit though, I use Q to grab the CS and hit Lux at the same time. This concept is another important fundamental when it comes to skill shots. It does multiple things. First, if the enemy laner knows they should contest your CS, they will walk up as you go for the last hit, which puts them in range to land your ability a lot of the time. Also, damaging the wave, grabbing the last hit, and harassing the enemy laner with it is very efficient use of one ability. Lastly, it lets you walk up to bait them into doing something, which is similar to the first point, but is different in certain scenarios that we'll see later. But let's run this back to here though, right before I throw Q through the minion. You guys struggle at dodging Diana Q. Lux could easily dodge this. Diana Q comes from her right hand and it curves, always. If I wanted to hit Lux with Q here, I'd have to throw it like this. This gives her the option of walking backwards or forwards or down, depending on what she thinks I will do. Which brings us to one of the most important skill shot concepts, knowing your options. You need to know what options you have against certain skill shots. Some skill shots are unique like Diana Q and require a little more thought and game knowledge. Ones like Ezreal Q or Veigar Q, fast moving in a straight line, you only have side to side unless you're at max range, then you can also move back. We'll talk about this again in a minute with Lux E. But anyways, as I walk up for this next CS, Lux moves forward and I can tell she's probably going to use E. So I try to walk forward. Lux ends up using a pretty short range E, not anticipating that I would walk backwards. And that brings us to the next important part of skill shots, paying attention to tendencies. Every player is going to have a tendency or pattern of when and how they throw a skill shot. For example, if I'm against a Cassio and high elo, I'll walk up to a last hit knowing they will contest it. I need to pay attention to if they are preemptively using their Q when I'm walking up to the last hit, or if they wait for me to actually commit for it, or if they delay it and wait for me to try and juke it first. In high elo, they will switch up which timing they use, and you have to adapt as well. But in low elo, they will have one timing and will basically always use it. So you need to pay attention to when they throw it and how they throw it. I took note right away that Lux used E closer to her, not anticipating I would move backwards. And my option against Lux E are move forward towards her or backwards. The forward option is the one you guys don't use against Lux. It's a very slow moving skill shot, so she can't just put it on you. Anyways, watch how I use this information in a bit here. While her E is down though, I walk up and hit her while she walks up for a CS. If she knew how to dodge Diana Q, she would have walked forwards and not backwards, to the little pocket inside the curve of Diana Q. Now her E is up and I want to bait it just like I was at the start. But now I have more information to work with. So I walk up and walk back knowing I want to use the walk back option because she will throw it short. And just like that, I bait out the E and she misses. Look at how much freedom this gives me to walk up and auto the wave to grab CS and trim it down. Lets me hit level 2 first, but I missed my Q so I couldn't take advantage of it. Now I have to grab this next last hit, but I know Lux E is back up. I'm going to use the concept from earlier where I throw Q through the CS and hit her at the same time, while also using my backwards option anticipating her E. And boom, I hit her, dodge her E, and get the last hit. See how easy that is? This lets me walk up and jump on her with my E. The moment I do, I have to know my options again. I have 3. I can move to either side, or I I can E again to dash behind her. But I'm not trying to all in here, I'm just trying to chunk her. I don't have the damage to all in, so I jump in, then walk to the side to dodge her Q and she misses. This is where things get complicated at a higher level. Lux actually has options here on how to throw her Q as well. She basically needs to guess if I'm going to go wide, which is what I just did, or if I'm going to cut in and move down. This isn't as important for you guys because at this level, nobody's thinking about their options, and you can just be point blank and use it. But I was just giving you some insight on how it goes at a higher level. Also, even if I get hit by her Q, it doesn't matter because I dodged her E already. This concept is huge against things like Ahri, for example. If Ahri uses Q and W, then throws Charm, it doesn't matter if it lands, because she has no follow-up. Keep that in mind as it can easily influence your decision making. Anyways, back to the trade, I start walking away, ready to use Q in 2 seconds and jump back in. Lux's cooldowns are longer than mine, so I can abuse this if she doesn't know my cooldown. As soon as my Q is up, I throw it and jump in again, then walk away, but I do another small trick here. Notice at the end, I walk away, then turn towards her briefly, then walk away again and grab the last hit. What I'm doing here is another huge concept. I'm threatening her with my presence and body language, but I'm not actually planning on going in. And look what it made her do. She dropped E on herself. What's happening right now is, I'm making Lux think extra hard about her skill shots, overwhelming her mental stack. You know that feel when you're trying to track the enemy jungler, track enemy cooldowns, focus on laning, and the map all at once? That's your mental stack. All of the things you're thinking about. League is a game where singular concepts are actually easy. Last hitting on its own is easy. Then add last hitting while paying attention to 15 other things, right? Then it gets hard. Your goal with your movement is to make them think harder, which overwhelms their mental stack, which can lead to multiple things. They might give CS, they might not see your jungler ganking, they'll get flustered with abilities, etc. They will make more mistakes they wouldn't normally make against other players. Anyways, getting back to it, she's low enough to kill now, so I'm looking to hit her with Q again while her E is down. So I'm moving in and out of range until I catch her walking up too far. Lux doesn't make it hard for me to land it, because she doesn't know the last important concept, representing multiple options. Lux basically only walks backwards when trying to dodge, so I don't have to think hard at all about what she will do. If she showed me she's willing to run forward into the curve of my Q, or down to make me curve it more, then if I try to curve it more, then that lets her walk up or backwards, you see? If she represents more options, I have to think more about where to throw it, and that opens up her other options and makes it much easier to dodge. But since she doesn't do that, I easily land my Q and jump back in. Sadly, the enemy jungler is behind her at level 3. But since she doesn't have E, I'm able to dash out and survive, and we also got our barrier. Now I have to wait for my potions to kick in, then I can potentially look for a kill again. As I walk up for this cannon, I'm going to be at a range where I'm basically at max Lux E range. So I walk up acting like I'm going to auto it, but just turn around and use Q instead. Lux wastes her E cooldown in mana, and I still get the cannon. You might be wondering how I knew she would throw it though. And that's just from knowing her patterns and timings from previous CS she's contested and where she's standing. She's standing still in a spot where her E would reach if I walk up, so it was obvious. Anyways, now her E is down, so I have much more freedom to walk up and last hit and trim the wave like before. This entire time, I'm trying to get her to use her Q by walking up past minions, then turning around and falling back behind the wave in case she throws it, and as expected, she took the bait. Now I'm going to show an example where I represent a different option. I think she's going to throw her E deeper since I've been using the walk backwards option every time. So this time I just walk forwards, and as you can see, it was easy to dodge. It's clear at this point she literally has no clue what option I'm going to choose. She's still in kill range though and hasn't recalled, so I make sure to prevent the wave from crashing so she has to stay again. And I know her E is coming up, so this time I walk backwards and not forwards, and you can see how she throws it. She actually hasn't hit me with an E since the very first one. That's how powerful this is. But I'm going to hit level 4 here first, since her jungler soaked a lot of her XP, then I'm waiting for her to walk up. Since her movement is predictable, I can easily land my Q, then all in, since I know even if she lands her abilities, she doesn't have the damage to kill me. I chunk her, then walk away, and jump back in with W to finish her. Alright, to wrap things up, I'm going to show you guys a bonus trick when it comes to skill shots. A little later in this game, I'm low health, looking to recall. Lux comes around the corner, and I miss my Q. If she lands her Q, her E and R will kill me. She's being patient with her abilities here, which can be a really good thing, and I'll explain that in a second. But I run away, then let's pause. This trick I like to call the no options bait. You act like you're going to run into a spot that is going to give you no options, like running next to a wall, or running into a choke point, like the one in between mid tower and the wall. But then last second you turn and don't run there. Watch how well it works. See, she immediately threw it, but before we see what happens, the reason I said being patient is good is because she can use another trick I've talked about before, letting the enemy juke themselves out. It's when you don't throw abilities and just walk at them, because they are anticipating you to throw something important, like a Lux Q or an Ari charm, and they zigzag so you can close the distance. If she did this, I would have been in a really rough spot when I used the no options bait. She would have been able to get so close, it would have been really hard to dodge. Anyways, I jumped in on Lux after she missed, then stood near the wall since I knew she would flash, then used Q and E again to follow her and finish her off, turning a bad situation into an easy kill with a movement trick. Alright guys, so as you can see, after Lux hit that first E on me and we got that information, she never hit me with another one in lane unless I was on top of her going all in. That's the power of the concepts I taught you here. If you actually do these things, you won't get hit by skill shots anywhere near as often. And remember, if you truly want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then head to skillcap.com. We take the highest priority skills you need to learn to climb ranks fast, such as wave control, and then break it down into a step-by-step course of bite-sized 1 to 2 minute videos that are easy to understand. So while you wait for your next game to start, you can learn freezing, fast pushing, slow pushing, bouncing waves, the list goes on, all in just a few minutes to maximize your improvement rate. These courses have been getting 5-star ratings from all of our users, raving at how helpful they are. That's not all though, as every week we release 10 brand new Smurf commentaries where a challenger player teaches you how to climb out of the exact rank you're stuck in. If you're looking for something more personal instead, then we got you covered with one-on-one coaching from our trained challenger experts. All of this seems too good to be true? Well, don't worry, you're backed by a rank up guarantee. If you don't significantly improve while actively using SkillCap, then you get your money back, no questions asked. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below and get the rank you've always wanted. Alright, that's a wrap on this one. We here at SkillCap want to thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.